below. How are we sounding? Yeah, so that's good timing. Just in time, you know, I thought I'd put the fireworks on and draw the curtains for you. Yeah, this is now going to be like this for the next month. How are we doing? Without doxing yourselves, chat, where are you in the world? Georgia, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Estonia, Florida, UK, Germany, Canada. It's going so fast. There are a few of you in the room today. My Mac is already taking off. Bang! This is going to be a good one. Hope you're all well. Northern Ireland, yay! We got the full set. We had Wales, we had Scotland, we had England, and no Northern Ireland. We have the full set. Hello, London! Liverpool! Why are there fireworks tonight? Because Britain. Cypher. Because Britain. Speaking of which, we have wonderful superstar mods in tonight. Catsalot, the Opera Geek, let me get that right. And a lovely Cypher of Tear. We've got 3 mods. Mods, give them hell if people misbehave. Otherwise, please behave, chat. That'd be amazing. Just while you fill the room. Just while you fill the room in, it'll be story time in a minute. Hello, Berlin! I need to go back to Berlin. Loved it there. Yeah, love for the mods. Love for the mods. Okay, 4 minutes in. 4 minutes in. Let's chat. Hello, Wales. Yes, constant fireworks from October till February. That is correct. That's right. So, Golden Joystick Awards. Did anyone watch last night? Anyone see? It's like, this isn't gunshots. This isn't gunshots, chat. Fucking hell. Someone's literally got money to burn. Yeah, it's a sweep, I think. Larian won in every single category that it was nominated for, including supporting actor. Congratulations to Neil Newbon. You know, Amelia did all the announcements as well as being nominated. She did all the announcement videos for the categories as the videos going up. She also put in a good word so I could attend and so I could present an award, which I've never done in my life, which is why I dressed up. Her voice is amazing, Cowboy T-Bob. Yeah, no, I had visions of falling over, hitting my head on a lectern, and passing out while I was trying to read an auto cue for the first time, and thankfully none of those things happened. Yay! I had a couple of minutes of practice before. Yeah, no, never done an auto cue before. Is this noise distracting? Because if it is, I'll put headphones in an attempt to yeah, not drive you all mad. Is there a shooting? No, we're in London. Boomsy 23. This is not LA. That's to the flare. If headphones are a good option, that would be nice. Okay, let's try that, and then yeah, see how we go. Here we go. See if that works. It's not even that late. No, they don't. This will go on now. This will be it, Cypher. This will be my life. Thankfully, no pets here in the flat. Yeah, I hope you're well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please use it. Please use it. Really nice to see you all tonight. Hope you're well. No festival courier. Bonfire night is now all the time until people run out of fireworks. It doesn't. Is this better? I mean, it's not kicking off. Are they celebrating something in London? No. This is what people do in London now. This will be the next 3 months. Yeah. So yes, golden joysticks. Didn't have a fatal injury. Managed to not smash my head. Managed to get through the auto cue without being sick. Yeah, I was very nervous, but I didn't stuff it up, which is good. And yeah, thanks to Amelia for recommending me, I suppose, to be there. It was great. I've never been to an award show before. I don't think I've even been to a black tie event before. Yeah, and I said yes. So yeah, couldn't tell you were nervous at all. That's 3 years of a British classical acting training, I'm afraid. That's how they train us, so it doesn't look like we're terrified. Yeah, Cypher, yes, they went in black tie. It was dressed to impress. And I thought for once I could put some drag on in public, so I cosplayed as a girl. I announced the Best Indie category, Nosebleeding, and managed to advertise the Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which I was in last year. How is it meeting Troy Baker? Sure, nice. We've worked together technically before in an audio play by Mike Bithell. He decided to do an audio play, sort of sci-fi comedy called North Star Rising, which is free. It's out there. It's cool. So yeah, I know Mike Bithell. Mike Bithell approached me in the DMs, as I once approached Michael Dowse from Larian in the DMs. So when Twitter worked, it was yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. So what else happened? So there were we were on the second row. There were 2 Larian tables. Took me a while to realise that was a thing because we haven't met each other before. I met Sven, and he was amazing, and exactly sort of the person you see on stage, on camera, the panel from hell. Just a really nice man. There were a lot of directors of departments there, that sort of thing. And I said I met them about 15 minutes before the show started, and then about half an hour afterwards. And so that was cool. I got to meet Adam Smith as well, who put a lot of the chess pieces on the board. There we go, got there in the end. In terms of characters, narrative, how we all fit in together. That was really cool. And very complimentary and lovely, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. I don't really know how I feel about awards. I don't know. It was like going to a wedding, but without the wedding. Magitech Dad's here. Hello. Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one. Not what I'm used to, but I was allowed to sit next to Amelia, so it was very friendly and nice. I met Maggie Robertson, who plays Orin, who's in Resivol Village with Neil. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was nice, unusual, bit weird. Don't know why everyone was talking. Everyone was talking a lot. I did a lot of shushing. It didn't work. What I will say is that the 2 tables of Larian, who could have well just sat there and got pissed and smug, were cheering for everyone. They were cheering for everyone, as were a lot of the tables near the front, and then a few rows back it was just weird. We were constantly shushing people like shit librarians, and like people on stage are shushing. Troy Baker's shushing. Someone's shushing down the microphone much later on. It was bizarre. I was 2 rows back and I could barely hear people on stage. I was lip reading at one point, so it was really weird. Haha, what's with the shushing? It's because people were talking and they wouldn't shut the fuck up, and you do wonder why they're there. I don't really know what that was like. They were yelling. People were yelling. It was really weird. So that's my Golden Joysticks report. Yeah, a bit like a wedding. Lots of shushing. No fights that I saw. It was weird. I think there was an attempt, because British award show plus alcohol, never a good thing. There was an attempt for everyone not to be pissed. And it started at 4 o'clock UK time, but we'd been drinking since 1. I don't understand. Maybe they need to do it in the morning and with no alcohol. I don't understand. I don't understand. I did want to stand up and go full Karlach berserk mode, but I would have been booed and screamed at. So if the host can't keep it together by going, seriously guys, can you actually just respect people up here? What the fuck can I do? Yes, Joysticks tea. Some of us tried to shush. There's not much to say. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the Brit Awards, they stopped doing alcohol at that a while ago. More because of just bad behaviour generally rather than talking. There's a lot of places in London you can go if you want to chat and be loud with your friends. Yeah. Hey ho, it's done. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're here, I'm hoping you're a Baldur's Gate 3 fan. And, you know, they won every category they were nominated in, including Best Actor. Well done, Neil. Yeah, crazy stuff. Now, are we a VIP? Oh, VIP. I've got to VIP. Someone. Let me just do that. Can one of the mods give me that person's handle? Because I can't cut and paste. Thank you. I can't cut and paste in OBS on a Mac. Don't at me. It works when I want it to, just not for streaming. I think so. Oh yeah, I'll do that again. It's a good thing I'm not drunk. How's the banging outside? Is that better? No one is dying. It's just my soul. There we go. I think he's in. VIP. Good, good, good. I'll remember. I'm glad I had them to hand. Yeah, it drives me crazy. Can't imagine what it's like for you as well. Right, we've been going 14 minutes and I haven't answered a single damn question. We've got 61 questions. I'll try and get through them, but I also want to answer them properly. So we'll see. This might be there might be a second one. Yeah, this might be a second one. Cool. I'm glad it's sounding good. Right. Let's do that. Let's look at the questions list. Oh yeah, Kirsty Gilmore. So I tweeted last night. I met Michael Dowse, who's director of publishing for Larian, last night for the first time. Never met him before. And I like to say that there's no Karlach without Thomasina Bateman. That's a fact. There is no Karlach without my performance in the Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. I graduated drama school 2009, and I've mainly been working in theatre and audio dramas, but audio comedy drama, that sort of thing, but really high prestigious stuff. And for whatever reason, that just wasn't carrying into games. So I did something called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for Radio 4. My character's in the 5th book of the Douglas Adams trilogy. I played Random, who is Arthur and Trillian's daughter, if that means anything to you, but it was pretty high fucking profile stuff. I felt very out of my depth. I decided to train. I got out the other side. People took one look at this. I went, no. We can't tell where you're from. You don't look British. You don't look like you're from London. Good luck. There's a much longer story about that, but film, TV, theatre, no fucking interest. Now and then they would mention gender presentation. I'd get called butch, and you would wonder if they'd ever met a butch person. And it also, you know, it's a fucking subcategory of lesbians. Like, bizarre, but we didn't talk about gender back in 2009, 10, 11, 12. So there was no differentiation, but they were trying to help me, because if you weren't an English rose, you're not going to work, and if you're not going to get naked, you're not going to work. So I just thought I wouldn't work. But because I started in the audio sphere, I could go back to it. And Dirk Maggs, who's just a bit of a legend if you're into sci-fi and fantasy audio drama, just would employ me every now and again. I met Tracy through one of his productions. Tracy plays Jaheira. I met her on Sandman for Audible, in which I played Calliope, who's the main guy's ex-wife. But then you go into games auditions and they're giving you box or animal noises, and you know, when I say I'm not a voice actor, I'm not a voice actor. I'm not employed to make. Jaheira's here. Tracy's here, hello. Yeah, you know, like, it just wasn't carrying over. It just wasn't happening. And it took many years, like, banging my head on the door. And people like lovely Kirsty Gilmore, who I've been friends with for a few years now, 6-7 years I think. I would see at games events. I go, I'm a gamer, I play things. I'd go and meet people. I'm interested in devs. I just wanted to explore the culture, and I met Dave Jones that way too. Various places in Britain, and that was happening. And then I'm trying to think, Hobbs Barrow. Yes, so I'd been doing on and off. I've been going to things. I did Adventure X in 2017 on the panel with Dave Gilbert and Sally Beaumont and someone called Doug Cockle, you might have heard. Anyway, everyone was there to see Doug Cockle and not us, and it was very nice that someone said, let's break up this panel a bit, you know. Bless him, the actor from Broken Sword was on it as well. I can't remember his name. I'm sure you'll drop it in chat. But they're the famous ones, right? Broken Sword and him. I'd done 2 games plus some audio drama. Yeah, Doug Cockle, Witcher 3 actor, that's right. Yeah, and they gave us a platform, and that is the sort of pattern to my life in games, is that people had faith in me and gave me a platform in a way that it did not happen in film, TV and theatre. Did not happen. And so your Kirsty Gilmores behind the scenes are recommending people like me, recommending people who are marginalised otherwise in the industry and in life, and just amazing folks out there. And but it takes a lot of people endorsing you if you're not with one of the big agencies, which I wasn't, because when I got out of drama school I wasn't seen as marketable or whatever the word was, and a lot of the outsourcing studios in the UK just use the same 5 voiceover specialists. They get a lot of people who do audiobooks and stuff, and then a bit confused by games. Either they don't play, they're not interested, or they don't quite understand branching narrative. They get quite frustrated that they're being asked to do the same thing, what seems like again and again and again, and don't understand that sort of all the different options you can have. So it's a real shame that I think with Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't, because the amount of actors involved, 248 total, plus a lot of people, doubled, tripled, quadrupled roles to fill that world out. A lot of them would have been from a regular British drama school training, because that's how most of us get our experience. And it meant mocap wasn't terrifying, because we use our bodies all the time, and we had what Larry called performance directors, what we would call movement directors in theatre. We work with them all the time, and we literally have the same vocabulary. So once they started using things like LARB and animal studies, that sort of thing, you've suffered for that for 3 years in a drama school, and you can just knock that out. You know, with Karlach, she was so physically different from me. That was sort of the challenge, and then the rest came. I can do the analysis, I can do the character analysis, I can look at the text, and I can do the what if, and I can use my imagination. But physically, it was great to have someone in the room watching, because there's one bit where she does that, flaps, and I allowed myself to do it once in the whole game, because you want it to be a little bit out of control and fun and all the rest of it. But otherwise, you have to be very grounded and big, because it just looks a bit weird when a big character is a bit, flighty, I suppose. I don't know what the right word. Yeah, she has a flappy moment, Jollibee. You'll have to find that. Don't want to spoil it. Hello, anyone coming in? Look, 21 minutes in, I've answered 2 questions. This is going really well. Right. Now that you're in. Question number 1. What's it like being an NB icon? Hilarious, thank you. I seem to have been crowned an NB icon. Thing about bucket lists and acting careers is I've always felt that bucket list is something you have control of. Acting career is something you have no control of. You can have aims, dreams, all the rest, but there are a lot of people that sort of get in the way. I've just realised I've got to come back to the last story I hadn't quite finished, how I got to be on BG3. Damn it. I'll talk about being an icon, obviously. Always wanted to be a queer icon. That was a thing. Why not? And I played Karlach the way I wanted to, which was essentially me. I didn't think gender. I wasn't performing gender. Not really. Don't think so. Not consciously, anyway. And they were cool. BAFTA Games, another body that endorses me. There aren't many big official bodies in the UK that are going to do that. There's no... Yeah. It's BAFTA or nothing. And they're a much smaller body than film and TV. It's really a few individuals doing things. Yes, I'm non-binary. Hello. Nazgul. There was an XYZ. Okay. Yes. So yeah, they've again, like Adventure X in 2017, without having huge games under my belt or anything, they just respected the fact I was an actor, and they let me near a stage talk to people, which was really, really kind. So I've answered that. I'm going to go back. Right, going back. So I met Dave Gilbert. Dave Gilbert will come back into this story. 2017. Geralt of Rivera, played by Doug Cockle. I don't think anyone came back to me about who played the main character in Broken Sword, but he was there. It turns out we trained at the same place. So that was fun. And then me and Sally Beaumont, who were basically unknown at the time, but again, we were just treated nicely and given a platform just to talk about acting, even if it's in different medium. So I'd worked with Neil Gaiman. I worked with him quite a bit. I was very lucky when we did the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy show on tour. He got stuck with us for a few days and we got to chat, and just, again, wonderful man. I think a lot of my behaviour on Twitter is through watching Sassy Neil. I quite like the way he handles things. What more can I say? And I've actually done scenes with him in the studio as well. We did he did a follow-up to Neverwhere, which was also done on radio with Dirk Maggs, and I did a scene with him and Patterson Joseph, because that's a normal thing. That's what you do every day. And obviously trust me to do that. I'm going to name drop because this will be relevant to the games. I worked a lot for Big Finish. I did Doctor Who. I did Torchwood. I'm in the modern Torchwood, playing a silent non-binary character. If you're interested, there's a link. My Linktree link has an interview with Scott Hancock from Brain's Gone Mad. Big Finish. That's it. That's what I was talking about, wasn't it? And I worked with Ramon Tikaram, who not only is in Dragon Age Inquisition as Dorian, who's fucking amazing. He also we also had scenes together in this version of Torchwood. So it's not TV Torchwood, in case chat thinks it's TV Torchwood. It is not. Yeah, and that was really cool. But I was trusted to work with people like Derek Jacobi and sorry, names are going out of my head today. I've got to look at. I've gone blank. The whole cast of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Who else? Everyone on tour. We worked with Miriam Margolyes. If you're British, you'll know who the fuck that is. She's exactly as she appears on the tin. And the late David Warner, who played Irenicus in BG3. And if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't. He was so sweet and humble and normal and not starry in any kind of way. So I was trusted to do scenes with these people, to do, two-handers. There's a great master box set from Big Finish that is, there's one whole episode of me and just Derek Jacobi. They just let us go. And yet, in games, I couldn't get anywhere near it. Thank you for the love for Vienna. Vienna Salvatore lives forever. I played a sort of New York cop from the future. It's very Judge Dredd in its sort of sense of humour and tone. And that was Chase Masterson from Star Trek. So they trusted me with some big names. I wasn't shit. It's just audio's not respected at all by anyone apart from people who work in audio. That's it. So I was trying to get into games because I was doing all this sci-fi and fantasy, and it just wasn't happening. It wasn't happening, and so it took an American director, Dave Gilbert, to put me up for to put me in front of the developers for Hobbs Barrow, who chose me, obviously, and then for that to do well, and for me to be on Twitter, for Michael Dowse, head of publishing for Larian, to go on about it so much. It would have been wrong not to slide into those DMs. And bear in mind that Kirsty Gilmore had put me up for Karlach in 2020. I auditioned for it. No one was interested. To be fair, it was an okay audition. I didn't have the information that I had the second time. I didn't have the endorsement of Larian going, this is a good actor. Like, I don't think Michael Dowse suggested me for Karlach. I think they knew that I'd already done it. Apologies if I get the name wrong. I think Charlotte or Shayla Nix played Karlach in EA, and they decided to change her. And change of direction as an actor is something you hear when you're being fired. Now, with Karlach, she did the EA, she just did her bit and she was done. I don't think there isn't any cut content She was just there to show you, I guess, a potential companion. She certainly had the tadpole, so everyone knew. They then changed her. She looks a bit paladin by the end. They wanted to make her a lot darker. I came on board and I'm addressing some weird stuff I've heard about myself on Reddit, but I'm not going to dive in, which was I couldn't do what Larry wanted me to do, and then they changed Karlach to fit me. As I said, change in direction means you're being fired. They had a change in direction and I fucking survived it. I gave a very, dark edgelord thing and it didn't work. It didn't work because everyone else is a fucking edgelord, and they'd had the whole of EA to know what works with players and what didn't. And I went in around the same time as Theo, which, by the way, is more of a normal experience with a AAA game. The actor goes in at the end. It's all coded in. It's I'll come back to this when we talk about improv and stuff, but by the time the actor comes in, they are the last to come in. The visuals are set, the script is set. It's probably been localized. You've got to be really careful about suggesting changes and stuff, especially when you're seeing bits of script or ideas of script. And yes, you might have an instinct about the character, but it's not based on you. And anything that lovely Sarah Bayless, Karlach's writer, did later was really based on my delivery. So we had a lot more dry stuff, insults, that sort of thing. She could see I enjoyed doing it. But it's certainly, I survived the cull, right? I think that should be celebrated, or it was too late to hire someone else. I'll say something. When I walked in, Neil Newbon didn't know me from fucking Adam, and he came straight up to me and introduced himself and welcomed me, not knowing who I am. It was not conditional. He was just super friendly, told me what I was in and all the rest. Not knowing I come in through Larry and all that. And then he went, oh my God, we've been looking for Karlach for a very long time. We found it very hard to find her. And I do wonder if there was something in the non-binary expression that Kirsty saw years ago, if they were going for tougher. I don't know. But it's what I like to call a psychic casting. I think it's why we're coming across as quite similar to our characters, because we've done it on instinct. There isn't time to workshop. And there's so many hours involved. You just got to get up and go. So I've read some weird things on Reddit, but one of them was like, I couldn't do it. I'm unknown. They fire you. They just fire you. They don't rewrite the whole fucking thing. That's the answer I wanted to give there. There's a question 33 that I didn't. Catsalot has not only put all the questions together, but has also indexed them because they're amazing, and I suspect might be a robot because they're so good. That's good. If not too personal, do you think being out about non-binaries had any negative effects on your career? How do you tackle that? I'm far too scared to. That's from Noctura. So by the time I found the word non-binary, I knew that the film, TV and theatre industry wasn't particularly interested in terms of what it looked like, in terms of what we would now call gender expression. There was just a very narrow field of what they wanted to see someone like me represent. Let's just put it that way. It's the nicest way I can put that. But meanwhile, I got a lot of experience. I have no regrets. It's just a shame. I guess it took me a while to find games. Games used to just appear on my PlayStation. I didn't really question how they got there. And again, another reason I think why we're trying to be so visible so people can see, and why we're trying to elevate other people that worked as well, so you can see how many roles there are. There was also like a lot of jobs in games. Maybe not right now. It's pretty horrible out there, but compared to theatre, film, TV, and I mean all the roles behind the camera and in front, it is less competitive. That's just a fact. I've been trying to do work with BAFTA to try and get that message out there, and just people going to university for them to realise there are careers in games. So to attempt to answer that question, so by the time I heard the word non-binary, and it took me a while as well, because I was seeing a very specific kind of visual representation, and I wasn't that, and it took me a very long time. So by the time I had the word, I was pretty chilled in myself. I was very at home with who I am and didn't really give a shit. It's just I've sort of grown into, not as charming when you're young to not give a shit, but when you get older, apparently it's okay. Shout out Miriam Margulies. I'm out about it because it's safe. It's safe for me. There are no consequences. The body and you know, how I appear female to people, I can go out in a suit and I'm not going to have my head kicked in. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's any negative, because there's a lot of people, if we're talking career wise as an actor, film, TV and theatre aren't really interested. So so that's that. And in games, you're playing a lot of gender non-conforming women. You're playing women that are very action-based, who are physically very capable, who are probably single, who aren't validated by their relationships. They tend not even to be mothers, which is also interesting in itself. Yeah, so I felt very free. I felt it was very liberating, to be quite honest. Actually, in audio as well, because I'm doing, you know, fantasy and sci-fi and that sort of thing. So it's great. My advice to you is come out if it's safe. Don't come out if it's not safe. That's the most important thing. Also, you know, when you're out, you're not committed to that. If it becomes safe, you're not comfortable, or you think you got it wrong, it's your life. Surround yourself with good people who love you, and you'll be great. You'll be fantastic. Allies are good, and if you're queer, other queer friends, find your tribe, and even within games and audio, I found my tribe. I found my Kirstys and my Dave Joneses and Gilberts and Michael Dowses, who behind the scenes are trying to get people like me seen, and I'm trying to do the same for others. There's only so much influence we have, but I'm saying all this and so much of this so you understand how much endorsement you need. If you're not super famous, even the famous have endorsement. It's called value. You can put $signs on someone's name. That's pretty much it. That's it. It was safe for me to come out, and I also, in games, I didn't know any other actors that were non-binary and out. I've since found out that some of them have realised they are. Yeah. Just looking at anything. Is there any clarification you would like on that before we move on? I will say that UKIE, which is a UK industry body on interactive entertainment, that's the IE, we're saying that in the UK, 20% of games industry people, because it's not just devs, it's a lot of other people involved in the survey, 20% are LGBTQ. And I think that's down to growing up with things like Dragon Age and Mass Effect and any other sort of queer is normal representation. I think people have grown up feeling very safe. Yeah, let's take over the world. I think BG3 is doing a lot. Like, no one gives a shit about... I haven't seen anyone giving a shit about all the queer representation in that game. Glowbear says, a lot of gays in UK games. We're all just there hanging out with a cuppa. Yeah, that's true. I've observed that. Yeah. So as I said, it doesn't cost me anything. Hey Sharky, hey Glowbear. Yeah, I had an interesting time at Golden Joysticks. It was loud, wasn't it? It was loud, and we tried shushing, and it didn't work. Cool. So, next question. I think I've done like 2. Do you have a preference for she, they for pronouns, or either okay? Either okay. If someone's feeling spicy, use both in a sentence. Weirdly though, she is okay, and I don't think any other female signifier is. So I think, yeah, she's alright, but actress isn't. I don't like girlfriend, I don't like wife, I don't like mother. Yeah. Funny what you find out, isn't it? But, you know, people are going to look at this face and think girl. So, yeah. What's a positive aspect from the experience that was unexpected? I was gearing myself up for a load of negativity, and it hasn't happened. It's been a tiny bit of negativity. But we're talking less than 1% of people who've approached me. Obviously, if I dig enough on the internet, yeah, no. Yeah, actually, funny thing about actor, if you didn't know, actor's a Greek word, and it means to do. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will. But it means to do something. And it was genderless for a very long time. I think until Charles II, when he brought female actors over from France. He'd been living in France in exile. won't go into the history of that, but we did have a Republic for 5 hot minutes. And no one's been negative face to face. Everyone's been brilliant. It's just online, maybe 1%. It's fine. It's all sorted. Overwhelmingly positive. That's the surprise. But yeah, actor was a non-gendered word, and unfortunately, when Charles II started working with actresses, he slept with loads of them and had children with them, and you could pay money to see them change. So very soon the word got associated with prostitution, essentially, and that's what I hear every time someone says actress, and it's used that way. The actress gets naked. The actress has to do things that she doesn't want to. The actor is not asked to do that. It was a genderless word. Yeah, and I have no power over whether or not they know pronouns or not, or care. I don't get asked. There's a lot of assumption about that sort of thing. But please do your own research. I could be like making that up. It's like a fever dream. It feels a long time ago that I learned that one. Do you find it more enjoyable as a performer actor to play a character who's closer to yourself in personality, or one that's further? Further. Otherwise, it's a documentary, isn't it? Yeah, it's a documentary. You know, historically, most of the time, I'm just trying to think of one that's an exception, but most of the time, it's the nicest actors that play the baddies, because there's some sort of catharsis. There's some sort of play, being naughty, getting away with things you wouldn't normally do in real life. I think that's it. But yeah, for a challenge, yeah. I've been playing a lot of, because of sci-fi fantasy and the sort of roles I've been playing, a bit Ripley, they're a bit Sarah Connor, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Karlach's, of course, very different from those characters, which is amazing. But they're all sort of good. They're all good aligned. They might be chaotic good. They're survivors. They have learnt from their trauma, or they at least are traumatized. And maybe we play a baddie. Maybe we play a very complex baddie that you don't realise is a baddie till later. Okay. Question from AJ Somnia. Has playing Karlach doing mocap had an impact on how you perform or how you prepare for a role? No. I won't be so rude. I'll actually answer the question. I think the problem I have with voice actors as these, we think about the medium. Like this question, how is the mocap? It's the medium rather than what I'm trying to do, which is convince you I'm real. I'm going to convince you I'm real, and you're going to believe I'm real, and you're going to connect to me. And at the worst, you'll be entertained. At the very worst, you'll be entertained, but you'll believe that I'm real. That's my job. I breathe life into the script. That's the job. It doesn't matter the way it's delivered. I will, you know, like I did in audio, like I did with Hobbs Barrow, partly because I had the whole script, I will treat that with the due diligence that theatre requires. I just do, because I respect the art form that I find myself in, and I respect the writers. Most of us, if I know there's people coming in and out, most of us would have trained in BG3, would have been theatre trained actors, which really helps with the kind of movement directors, performance directors as they're accredited in the game, because we literally speak the same language, we have the same vocabulary. We would have trained, I mean, drama school's 3 years. I remember doing an hour of voice and an hour of movement every day, Monday to Friday, for 3 years. That's how in your body it is. And you learn these things like LARBA and like animal studies, and you get a toolbox, right? If you don't do the training, you can use a hammer, you can use a spanner, but you might not know how to use how to work with rule plugs or drills. And the idea of drama school is like they just make you use every damn tool that is available. And you might not like them, and you might not use them, and then one day you might come back and go, actually, that's the right one for the job. I don't think I'd used LARBA before, because film, TV, theatre, it's your body. There's not much you can do about the way you come across. For character stuff, yes, absolutely, of course. But for Karlach being so big and me being so flappy, we worked on it, and the word was pressing. If you know your LARBA, you know what that means. It's sustained, it has a direction, and it's heavy. And LARBA is like a grid of rules. You have these 3 different qualifiers, and then you come out with different things. So like that's dabbing, that's punching, it's that sort of thing. And for Karlach, it was one word, and it was that. So that was, yeah. Was drama school super expensive for you? I had a scholarship. Yes, it's really expensive otherwise. I got into a lot of drama schools. So this is where a lot of the saltiness comes from. The drama schools prepare to be a great actor. They do not prepare for the industry or the industry's wants and needs and desires. And, you know, talking around, like, if you get into one, you've probably got into a few, and then you just have to make a choice. It's only V says, I've seen Tim Downey in interview compare some stuff from his theatre training called Shadow Play, I think, that he used doing mocap for the first time. There you go, toolbox. If we did something like that, it wasn't called that to us at my drama school. Opera Geek is crying in paying student loans. It's okay, Opera Geek. I'm still paying student loans for the English literature degree that I did, that I never quite earned enough money to ever pay off. So don't worry, you're not alone. But I do know it's not quite the same. There's a lot of interest in there, but there we go. Was there a Karlach line that made you really emotional to record? Yes, there was a whole scene. Guess what it is? It's a big spoiler, but I will say on the Karlach breakdown on the BG3 game website, it mentions her wanting to get revenge. You can get revenge. That was a very emotional scene. That was all real. I was very much waiting to get all that out of the system. But again, theatre training, why I keep mentioning it, it's not method. It's a set of tools that you use, you tap into. It doesn't hurt me. Part of the reason I got into drama is I found it very cathartic in a really healthy way. And you can scream and shout and no one knows what bits are you and what isn't. And yeah, there was a bit of stress in the personal life, work life. I had a full-time job while I was doing it, and it was getting more and more stressful. And trying to balance that with the game and everything, and yeah, just let it all hang out. It was good. We did it in about 2 takes at Pit Stop, which isn't too far from me. This is why I could kind of do it in the first place. With Josh Whedon. I say that carefully, not Joss Whedon. Josh Whedon, no relation, but he directed that remotely. There you go. The power of amazing artists on the feed. Yeah, that answers that. Ambivalent 4 says, you've played as 2 distinct characters of Thomasina Bateman and Hobbs Barrow and Karlach BG3. What character types have you not played you'd like to perform in future roles? I think I answered that. Maybe let's play a baddie. Same person for Karlach. Does Karlach know she's loved by Tav and companions, or do you think she doubts it sometimes? I think as a soldier, you have to form a lot of, I wouldn't say fast friendships, but you've got to trust people pretty quickly because you're dying for each other, right? You're killing and you're dying for each other. And so, at least for Karlach, and with her background and their circumstances, a big red button for her was betrayal. And you'll see that in the game if you choose to, if she finds out that you've been betraying her. I think it's quite telling if you've chosen to keep her alive and keep Will, and what happens to Will, and the consequences of doing the right thing for Will are quite harsh. Yeah, I think that that really lands with her. And if you choose, I know from obviously the origin side, because I did that bit, if you choose to romance Will as Karlach, that's a really intense relationship, and not just because, oh, you know, enemies to friends, because actually they're both monster hunters in their own way. They have a lot in common. They want to smash evil things. She just admits that it's fun, whereas he doesn't. But she's really taken aback. She's really taken aback that he's put himself on the line, and I think it takes her a while to kind of understand why. Why would anyone help her? Because no one... I mean, we know she had a good childhood, but no one's really tried to help her, especially if there's negative consequences. Yeah, that's right. Viking Nerd says it is. Karlach also loses it if harm comes to Will. They have such a bond. Exactly that. It's that soldier relationship. It's actually ride or die. Nothing is too far for these people. I think someone mentioned when I was playing Karlach Plays Karlach that I instinctively saved Lae'zel, and I didn't care about the tieflings, even though they're tieflings. But Lae'zel helped me get off the Nautiloid, and it's as simple as that. And she has given me no reason not to trust her or anything. She's very sensible. Do you think I, a person that never did acting or pursued school for acting, can become a voice actor? Take classes. I start to dislike IT because it's a job where you need to develop yourself constantly. Yeah, I did IT as well. It drove me insane because I wasn't earning money from acting. Yes, become an actor. that's the first bit of advice. There is a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com by D. Bradley Baker, who's sort of more recently known for The Bad Batch. He's all of them. And he's a full-on bona fide voice actor. If you're in the UK, there isn't actually that much work for pure voice acting. I'd suggest you become an actor. It's actually all acting. But I said, like I've been saying over and over again on this stream, that so much of what we did in our theatre lives, in the training and in the experience we've had in theatre, really came into play because it's the text, then it's the body, and then it's the voice, in that order. You don't start with a funny voice. I know a lot of people think it's a funny voice because that's what you see in behind the scenes. You see the result. You don't see any of the work that we do off screen. Yes, thank you, Cypher, for triggering that. Escapist magazine, and I did a written FAQ on what daily life in the volume looked like, and what my experiences were like. And yeah, it takes a village of people to make a Karlach. All right, Nom the Burritos. You do some of the best clipping of my playthroughs. Thank you. Yeah, well, hey. As a fellow Assassin's Creed fan, I wonder if there's any character in any of the games that you've loved to have voiced. Ezio de Auditore. It's going to be my answer to everything. I think he's one of the best video game characters ever. Another one, you're against devils for very valid reasons, but is there anything at all you take a deal with Raphael for? No. Disco Samurai says, as an actor, what did you find most challenging when portraying Karlach? I think it was just the mocap rules, and like a good play. You spend a lot of time on the opening scene because it sets all the rules up. So we did. I mean, obviously there were what they call priorities. We shoot out of order, and a lot of it was, even though I was coming in late, as it were, which I wasn't, by the way. It's just the others did EA, which is really unusual for actors to do. In fact, I've never heard of that before. And I had the benefit of the mistakes that were made, before. So I guess it was mocap rules, but also setting up a character that I couldn't find in media. I couldn't find. It's normally Sarah Connor or it's Ripley. I couldn't find her. I do not have any experience with mocap before BG3. Ironically, Amelia Tyler has trained and didn't get to do any. A lot of us, I'd say the majority of us, did not have any experience, and that's why the theatre training comes in. I'm just going to keep saying it because you keep asking. EA was early access, that's right. Yeah, so it was setting her up. It was the first scene with Will. That got changed a lot because you may or may not know he changed quite a bit. I think he was a bit of a charlatan in EA, and now he's very, 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 very noble. Very noble. So Amelia did mocap vaults. I'm not sure that's Neil. But for the person who said JFC Fuller, Amelia was trained by Neil. I'm not sure that's true. Unless he was working for Mocap Vaults. But his company has a different name. So yeah, if you're good enough, if you're a good actor and you have that vocabulary, that theatre, physical vocabulary, you'll be fine. Because it's just learning the rules. You're not... If you're doing creatures, and again, this is what goes back to what I'm saying about voice acting and the difference between voice acting and vanilla acting. That is a specialism. That is a physical specialism. Or you might be a stunt person. You might be a dancer. Again, specialisms. No one is too fat for mocap. Cypher, no one is. You'd be surprised at all the wonderful bodies that were coming in to make these characters. Spoilers, I'm not 7 foot tall. Or even 6'5", as I think she is in the game. And that's wonderful because a few years ago I was told I would only play strippers. Yay! And I'm not even a dancer, chat. They didn't mocap our faces. You don't have to worry about that in this game. Yeah. So I think I've answered that one. Yes, it was setting with Will, because sometimes she's scared of Will, sometimes she wasn't, which obviously undermines him. And does that ruin his entrance? I could see kind of how it was fitting together, but also to set her up. So when she was edgelord back in the early days of recording, she was a braggart. I wasn't a fan, but that's the role, She bragged a lot, and I thought, this is a game where you can roll a natural 1. She's going to look like a fool. And so then we did another version where she wasn't anymore, and she's like the best mate sort of character, or very blasé, because she's out of hell, literally out of hell. Everything's brilliant. Also, it's not going to tell you all the shit that's going on, especially in the old chest, because it makes her a liability. So it's all subtext with her. Maybe that's it. Most channel, I love subtext, it's fine. Is there a role in theatre, film or game that you love to portray? I've had to think about it, because I go all of them. It's Susan in Plenty by David Hare. Gonna wait for chat, see if you know who that is, and if you don't, I'll talk about it a bit. Okay. No. Okay, so Plenty is an amazing play, I think from the 70s by David Hare. There's a movie of it with Meryl Streep. It's really good. It's sort of based on a real life person, who I also think Vesper in Casino Royale is based on. She was a spy in the Second World War. She was an absolute fucking hero. And in Plenty, she kind of has to go back to normal life. And she watches all these men, all these ambassadors she's in with, because her husband's an ambassador, and she's watching the Suez Crisis happening, and finds it all very dull and very hard to go back. You've also got themes of like mental illness in there. It's really cool. Hi Lotsky. Sadly, the 70s predates my existence. Yeah, it also predates my existence, but it's called Recorded Media. It's amazing. It's called Films and TV and stuff. You can totally check it out. And it's written down too, so you can just pick up a book. Yeah, great role. She's very, very complex. She makes a lot of awful decisions, but you get to see why. I wouldn't say she's a villain. I'd say she's a product of her times. But yeah, Plenty is incredible play. If you ever get to see it, I know Cate Blanchett. Played it as well. It's a really nice role. It's sort of like a modern Hamlet for a woman. It's that good. It's a really good role. Okay, wow. We are almost an hour in. I haven't touched these questions. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to cover things because I'm aware that I speed, and I'm aware that some people sometimes hear not what I'm saying, the opposite of what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, this is a nice question. Disney Rich. Don't sue me, that's their username. Hello and congratulations for your success with BG3. So well deserved, thank you very much. My question is, do you know or have any plans for any conventions here in the US, like Dragon Con, Atlanta or MegaCon in Orlando? Write to people, get them to invite us. That's it. Yeah, no objections, give us a shout. I can't pronounce this. WGGLY, Wiggly Tough. What's your favourite Karlach moment in the game? The same that I said about revenge and stuff. That was nice and meaty, and there was no cover anymore. The fucking lid's blown off. There's no let's make jokes. There's no I'm really relieved. This is absolute stark facing it, looking the situation in the eyes, and having to sit in it for a bit. Do you have a favourite NPC in the game besides Damon, of course? Damn. I've been recently getting to know Minthara. Minthara Karlach romance is insane. You're talking about ride or die? Wow. No, I think the performances are incredible. I certainly don't have a favourite. Yeah, Minty. Yeah, Minty. Minthara is a fucking legend. And yeah, because she's placed where she's placed, and the alignments people want to play, might not get to her. But do a Dark Urge run. Top 3. Jared Sward says top 3 favourite lines, Shakespeare lines, and or works, plays, sonnets, etc. No. I quote them as they come to my head. There's one, the fault's not in our stars. That's quite a famous one. That's from Julius Caesar. To do with fate versus agency. And that, like, people like to say things are out of their control. Obviously, to a degree they are. But the idea of not taking responsibility is off the table. And again, for talking about complex villains, Cassius is really interesting in that respect. Edmund the Bastard, I'll give that a go. What a great role. But you know, there's so many roles in Shakespeare of all ages. That this answer will change. So yeah. Any projects you have coming up that you're excited about? Oh, I can talk about one. That's Cabernet by Party for Introverts. It's a vampire game. I get to play a vampire, a really posh, mean one. Drake, not that one, said, you did a great job portraying everyone's favourite barbarian, but if you'd been asked what D&D class you wanted to portray in the game before you introduced a Karlach's character, which one would you have picked? I don't care about that. I care about story. It doesn't really matter. But in terms of one that suits me as a human, it's going to be a bard, because I'm an actor, and a little bit of monk. Multi-class, I've got experience, like Theo, I found out, has experience in martial arts, although he did a lot more than me. But I used to beat up boys and make them cry, literally because I knew more than them. I just knew how to fight better. It's just done on points. and yet they would cry. It was so very satisfying. I'll do a couple more and take a break, if that's all right with you. I'm trying to rattle through. We're not making a dent in them tonight. I think there's going to be a second one. Drytex says Drytex. That's a product you put in the walls, isn't it, to insulate them? Drytex says, is there some aspect of Karlach that you would want to explore more, or a certain path that you would like her to go down, see how she would react to certain situations in particular? There was a little bit of dialogue about going to a fucking tavern, and Karlach never gets to go to the tavern. And the elves, we didn't do lines where Karlach is just hanging out in the tavern, finally getting a pint after 10 years, maybe starting a fight, maybe breaking one up, maybe both, who knows, and just general telling stories round the fire. I just wanted that for her. Really glad I've seen these questions in advance. Based Ludwig says, what came to your mind when performing the scenes as Karlach? Any unique characteristics you came up with? How did you find the overall experience? So that's a big question. What came to my mind? If anyone in chat wants to elaborate or maybe explain what you think that might mean, because that's quite a big one. I tried to look heavy. I was trying to look big and heavy. Unfortunately, as the characters were still, and this was all of us, our characters were still not finalised in terms of the look, I was not allowed to put my hands on my hips or fold them, just in case it'd be armour or weapons and that sort of thing. So you'll see that in the background when NPCs are just hanging out. Someone's done that for us. But that's it. That's it. I couldn't do it. It's a little bit over the shoulder. I'm not sure animation liked it. I used to do a lot of that, just sarcastic over the shoulder, but I don't think there's much of it in the game. But we offered it. You just make an offer. And that's another reason why, you know, I think a few of us are saying, like, it takes a village to make each character, but also you've got additional mocap performers as well. And we record in different locations at different times. They'll do a bit, I'll do a bit, and then it's stitched together, and animation touched it, and cinematics touched it, and unless you are in the room with the animation people, you don't know. You just don't know. But what I can say is generally, if I'm speaking, I did the mocap. Now, whether or not it's used or not, who knows? And that's the same for all of us. It would have been spells, battlefield stuff, banter, party banter. The Karlach barn scene, I'm not talking in that. I'm not sure that's very her. It's a bit mean, wasn't it? It's more of a barbarian. I think all the barbarians do that, don't they? Or people, yeah, mocking them. I think that was more of a barb thing. It was, yeah. I'm just reading what Jorge says. Basically, playing is a mystery for you as well. I wouldn't say mystery, but I'm just saying what was filmed and what was not. And yeah, if you're talking to any of the characters and it's like this 3/4 shot, then we did mocap for it. It's really as simple as that. I Love You Too is great, and it is me, Viking Nerd. I never went in, saw someone's performance or cinematic, and did a voice over the top. Is that clear for chat? I feel I've said this a few times. I'm waiting. Just gonna wait for the chat. Yes, someone says yes, very clear. Yeah, I put it in the FAQ as well on Twitch. Crystal clear. Spread the word, soldiers, please, for the love of God. Yeah. Right. The Selena Price. What's your dream Shakespeare role? Hopefully this is implicit, but just in case, traditionally cast gender does not matter. Edmund the Bastard, why not? Let's just say that one for today. I've said it a couple of times today. EP Simps, what's your favourite part about acting? Connecting, telling stories. Maybe making you in a very safe space, like in the dark in Rose, or on your console, making you think about things maybe you haven't thought about in a hopefully very positive and healing kind of way, but maybe making you realise some things that you haven't really thought about before. That's certainly been my best experience as an audience member, is when I've recognised something in myself that I've never thought of before. I think that's magic. I think that's in, you know, any good novel. You know, you'll get that. Do you have a dream project that you like to work on? No, that's not how I think about it. I just think, is it a good role? Do I want to play it? Best not to dream. Best not to hope. It's the hope that kills you. Twilight Rose 88 says, hi Sam, incredible performance, thank you. Super intense and moving, thank you. Did you have anything to do with Karlach's appearance, or was she already finished when you started voicing acting her out? If you mean facially, I think she was already like that from early access. They changed the class. She looked a bit paladin. Again, I'm sort of speaking for devs, but in terms of what she was wearing in EA, and she was like fully padded sort of armor, and she was a little bit smaller as well, and she had a crossbow, and just not very barbarian. But as we went on and we started to see more art, and that was quite seldom, to be quite honest with you, because the character matters, not the class. It doesn't change her story, doesn't change the way I play her. If you're talking about the full body, like the bikini, I saw that quite near the end. And the scars, I think, was when it got released to the world, when Karlach was announced during, I think, the last panel from Hell. Right. Wagasaurus says, besides the icon that is Karlach, which BG character would you like to play? I think I'm pretty well cast. What does chat think? Actually, I'm intrigued. I keep getting asked, but I don't think I know. Also, don't make it about like, oh, you'd be better than the actor that's there, because see, this is why it's a funny question. Maybe Minthara. See, I can't compete with Emma. Mizora. Owlbear. A cat. I could have been a cat. That would have been amazing. I did audition for a few. I know Neil talked about it when they originally put some calls out for this game with all the different classes, and they said they sent 12, pick 3. I think we both did 10. One day, if I'm allowed, I will share the Goblin audition. I think I was robbed, chat, personally. But I much preferred doing Karlach, I must say. I'll go wild and say Orin. Maggie was incredible. Maggie, theatre-trained actor. She went to Lambda in London. I found out from an interview she did. Right, next one. And then we'll break. Yeah. I haven't finished the game yet, but Karlach has expressed herself in... Skiki fried rice. I haven't finished the game yet, but Karlach has expressed herself in so many different ways. Happy, angry, hyped up, playful, protective, comforting. What's the prep like for those kinds of scenes, especially the emotionally charged ones? There is no prep! Obviously we've seen a script at some point. You don't shoot in order. Sometimes it's a rewrite. Sometimes it's what we call a stub, which is, this is what we want by the end of the scene, but it's not. The lines are not ready yet. Please do not record. It's acting. Let's get in there and do it. As Tomfoolery 1047 says. That's right. It's like anything else. I think I've made Tracy laugh. There's got to be agreement, right? Yeah. There's no prep. I'm standing still in a mocap suit. Yeah. On that bombshell, I will... I was going to go, but then Nom the Burrito said something. It's intriguing to know that you guys get to do lines in mixed orders and he's contradiction things on the fly. Yeah, like any other kind of recorded media, especially film. Film's kind of known for it. Yeah, that's it really. Yes, I am going to go on a break, and I suggest you do too, and hydrate, and be nice to the mods, or we'll all kill you. I'll see you in a bit.
Roads its demons bane, plagued by the scars and the thoughts that remain. A way to resolve, but no way to forget. Unchained and unshackled, but bound by regret. Twisted in torment as you waste his war. You were done in the way of theirs. How to atone and to wash what you've seen. Hands forced by another, but stay same lines. Twisted torment as you wages war. You were adorned in the weight of their souls. Mistress of war after you made them fall. You were adorned in the weight of us all. Torment as you wages war. You were adorned in the weight of their souls. Mistress of war after you made them fall. You were adorned in the weight of us all. Far off on the risen roads, its demons bane, plagued by the scars and the thoughts that remain. A way to resolve, but no way to forget. Unchained and unshackled, but bound by regret. Twisted torment as you wasted war. You were adorned in the weight of theirs. How to atone and to wash what you've seen. Hands forced by another, but stained all the same. Lord up from below, you escaped from the nine. Revenge and redemption both tread the same lines. Twisted torment as you wages war. You were adorned in the weight of their souls. Mistress of war after you made them fall. You were adorned in the weight of us all. Twisted torment as you wages war. You were adorned in the weight of their souls. Mistress of war after you made them fall. You were adorned in the weight of us all.
Hello, we're back. How are we doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Excellent. We have a few VIPs knocking around today, as well as our VIP mods, of course. We actually literally are that. Cypher of Tyr, Cats a Lot and the Opera Gig. First two doing some very long charity streams. If you want to drop details in the chat, please do. We've also got Tracy. We did have Tracy plays Jaheira, sorry I should say, and Scott Joseph, who plays the Emperor, who I was just saying in the break, did an incredible interview, I think, with Chocobo Chasers. If you're still here, Scott, please drop a link. He knows so much about the physical side of all this. Like, he's got so much experience doing this sort of stuff, and he talked about creating the character from the experience, from the perspective of someone who's done it quite a bit before, and it was absolutely fascinating. If that's something that interests you, so if he is here, if you could either drop that to a mod or put it in chat yourself, that would be amazing. Don't worry about missing the first half, because this will be VODed at some point, and maybe, because there's been a shit ton of questions, maybe we'll even index it so you can find the answer to your question. Yeah, and hope everyone is still doing great. Yeah, we had a couple of raiders. Mods, can you just let me know who that is so I can say thanks? I think we had Mousy just as I went into a break. So Opera Geek says Scott Joseph playing probably the only character I want to punch out while shaking the hand of the VO who voiced them for an amazing job. So that goes back to my point about really lovely people playing villains really well. I've known him for a very long time. He's a good man. He is amazing, yes. And he is the character, I should say, is the Gaslight King. That's right, Elo Unicorn. All right, let's dive back in. We have a million questions left. So I am going Cats a Lot if you're knocking around. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Cypher. Thanks for putting up Scott's episode. It was Chocobo Chasers. Please bookmark that one. It's really interesting. Yeah, so Cats a Lot, if you could have a look at the questions. I think we covered 21 and 22. Cats a Lot's doing an amazing job not only indexing these but marking them off as they go along. It's bad enough being distracted by the endless fireworks outside. I'm trying to respond to chat and just making sure that what I'm saying is landing with you. Yeah, that's great. My window hasn't refreshed. Sorry, Cats a Lot, don't worry. Yes, halfway points. What number am I looking for, Cats a Lot? Oh, halfway point, like you did. Cats a Lot's amazing. Okay, and then I'll come back to 23. Yeah, let's do that. Which Karlach ending do you think is best? I don't talk about endings. It's spoilers. It's not even out on Xbox. To take that a bit more seriously, it's not my job to have an opinion on the endings. My job is to be authentic and believable and move you. I think I moved you because people are salty. Did you do the idol dances? Here is a fucking exclusive, chat. Did I do the idol dances? No, we know that. Who did the idol dances? We don't know. Jason Latino in cinematics went, we think it was animation. It's animation. It was a human. She's called Tamara. She lives in Belgium. And she's part of the animation department under Thierry. And we met for the first time last night thanks to the golden joysticks. Oh, I'm so excited! It's so excited. We're going to try and get her on or something. I'd love to talk. We know that is the number one question asked about Karlach, is the bit I didn't do. And yeah, let's get her involved. Not sure that she is an actor. I think she really is an animator. An animator who's gone and given it a go. So you see her running around with an axe, swinging an axe in battle. That's her, I think. Have you seen the new sort of stargazy Karlach? Maybe even the new... I love this, by the way. The new bits where she's like... and literally talking to herself as if to say, play as Origin Karlach. Yeah, I think that's all the same person. Tamara in Belgium in the animation department. We got there. We got there, internet. We did it. This is the best day. I just found out. I found out less than 24 hours ago. Very, very exciting. It does take a village to make a Karlach. It took whole conurbations to make this game. There we go. That's the answer to that. Yeah, people have asked about improv, and this is why we're doing this live, because I wasn't quite sure what you meant. Because there's a couple things, and I think when we talk about improv, we think comedy, I think we think specific performers, known comedic performers either writing their own work or someone's writing for them, and so there is space for that. And even within that, if you're a fan of the thick of it, in the UK, great political satire now known as a documentary. Armando Iannucci sort of quite famously let them off the leash and let them improvise, but that's not using the show. That's to loosen them up for the very, very scripted piece. If you know Mike Leigh, again, very famously improvises, but then turns that into a script. So, yeah. So, I've talked about dev cycles and stuff and where the actor comes in, which is normally at the last bit. By the time that script is written, it's in the game. It may have been localized, translated, all of that sort of stuff. So unless it's a typo, and time is money. Time is money. And as a games actor, you are employed by the session. You will get a very bad reputation for coming up with "I know better than the writer." And remember, the other thing is, like, we've come in on I think most of us came in on instinct, rather than having any sort of provision or time to workshops. Just not how games work. You just go in and do the thing. Unless, I think the only one I changed was Sarah Bayless, the writer, is American, and she was having Karlach say "woohoo," and we weren't having that. And then by we I mean me. We were having a "way" because it's Karlach, and that was it really. And even then, unless it's a typo, which was rare, I don't. Yeah, it's not cool. It's just not a cool thing. I think if you come from a theatre background, like the writer is God, you do not mess with the word of the book. They've written it like that for a reason. You do not know better. It's very different, as I said, if you're a comedian or a famous person and someone is trying to capture your voice, you're being paid to play yourself. That's very different. I know, there's something. I know there's a physical. Hopefully, you'll come up with some more. Yoink was scripted. Yoink is scripted. I didn't do that, and they said neither would they, because they'd have to program all that in. It's a nightmare. It wouldn't be seen as a fun thing for me to do. What a genius Sam is. She knows more than all our writers. Many writers around the world. Yes, the yes fist pump. Thank you, Cats, a lot. The yes fist pump, the yes bit. Does everyone know what the hell I'm talking about? First of all, I think it's sort of Karlach scores. Like, she's got a date coming up, and she turns around and she goes yes and fist pumps. That's as written. And the physicality of that came from our lovely movement director, Gabriel H. Zonana, who really came with some amazing stuff. He is Brazilian-born performer and movement director, and he trained at the Lecoq School in Paris. For those who know what that is, that's a really big deal. It's what we deal with in theatre, so we all completely understand each other. And he suggested the turn and the little fist pump. That was him. You might notice that we're quite static when we're talking. The studio we used in London, because there were two, there was Guildford, more for stunts, people touching each other, actually 2 actors or more in the room at the same time. We weren't doing that. We were recording in isolation with our teams, with our technical and directing teams. So you stood still. That was the physical rule of that setup. That particular bit, where she turns around, yes, fist pumps, that took a while to set up, as did, sitting around the fire, saying horrible, dirty things to the player. Crash mat comes out, a long time to set up. These are not things that you just throw in at the last minute. It's very planned, it's very talked about. They may even have, if there's not a cinematic that you're working with, they may have a drawing. They may want you in a certain position and you get to do that. So I hope that explains. Is there any other sort of one that you're thinking of? Chat's gone silent. First the Karlach idol dancer was revealed, and then we have debunked fist pump gate. I'm thinking, good, okay. I think I've made that clear. So what I would offer is the opposite. Sometimes Karlach burns very hot. Sometimes she's very cold and quiet, and that can be really terrifying. So we did that too. I play with that. I play more with the delivery, if that makes sense. I love you too, which was written in capitals, I performed as one word. and that felt like the character. By then we'd done some romance, and she's quite emotionally quite immature. So oh yeah, that's another one to debunk. Karlach's not a literal child when she gets sold to hell, because it wouldn't make much sense for Gortash to employ a child enforcer or bodyguard or whatever she was. If she's a bodyguard, she's got to be an adult. No one's going to take her seriously. It's just more that, you know, relatively she's a kid and she made some poor judgment, very poor judgment. Yeah, child labour, that's right. I think what I decided was age of majority, which in the UK be 18, in some countries it's 14, in America I think it'd be 21 maybe. But she talks about shagging anything that moved, and she never really had a relationship. Let's make her an adult. Shrimp fried the rice. How old is Karlach canonically? 30s. I never got an answer. I certainly wasn't contradicted when I offered. I think anywhere between 28 and 30, maybe a little bit older. But I would go with, let's imagine she was age of majority in your country, just on the cusp of adulthood. And, you know, the cerebral cortex, as you may or may not know, does not fully develop until you're 25. So, arguably, a kid making bad decisions. And on the burrito says, just because this is worth answering and I love it, do you have any background info on a story of Flo and Avernus? I have serious headcanon about that and where that fits in, and again, don't want to spoil it. But Florutta the Garotta turns up, or at least the threat of her does, and I imagined she might have been a fast friend in hell. I imagine prison, supermax prison, like the scariest shit you get in America with the gangs and all that. That's sort of the hell I could relate to, and maybe Karlach's doing things that she wouldn't want to admit to, and certainly things she doesn't want to do again on the outside now that she is out. So she might have a bit of an embarrassing friend in Florutta the Garotta. I think that's it. Yeah, someone says, I'd say she was 20s when she was working for Gortash. In my headcanon, yeah, some time to act like an immature adult for a few years. Yeah, I'd go with that. They cast me because they cast me and thought I was believable, whatever age I was coming across, so we'll go with that. But not a baby. Someone did a whole thing like she was 10, that's why she has a bear. I wasn't told about the bear, I don't have lines about the bear, that's a dev choice, that wasn't me. Yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, we're still on the halfway things. Yes, actors do not shoot in chronological order, so this sort of goes back to improving. If I don't know where this storyline is going and I'm filming out of order, how the hell can I improvise and go, oh, I kind of know better, I think I would say this. You kind of have to trust everyone. You trust the directors and the writers and everyone working on it, that they know what the hell they're doing. And if it goes wrong, you come and do retakes, but you don't want that to be your fault because you insisted on something, you know. I hope that answers that. But it's just like filmmaking. You film out of order. In this game, it's called priorities. I guess they wanted to get that in game, get it tested, see how it lands. I would say all the big Karlach movements, like for the sake of argument, introduction, revenge, and the first controversial ending. And that was some of the first stuff I did, and that got out there and it got tested, and they made sure it worked for them and it worked with the character. And at least I had that journey, I knew it was coming and all that sort of thing. But that's why you just go, I know this person backwards. I think I know their story, and I have my own life experience, whether that's observed or experienced, and I can use my imagination. And those sort of three things make the character. I've been very glib about that, but that's essentially. Okay. Lizelle is 22, I believe. Yes, very, very good to impart. I wonder what that means in Githyanki rather than in Faerun. Yes, Lizelle is a baby, and that's why she's redeemable in her space racism, whatever you want to call it. She's a young'un, she just doesn't know better. Tracy, if you're still here, how old is Jaheira? Someone was just asking about it. I just want to say, yeah, someone said 150 years. She's a lot younger than Halsin, because that was used as an argument for her not to be romanceable. Sexist. She's not ancient. She's not older than... She's nowhere near Halsin's age. He's like 350, man. Jaheira's not 300. She's about 120, 150. Tracy's had enough. I don't blame her. Nonsense. Yeah, that's how someone said. Work it out backwards from BG2. Yeah, yeah. Tracy's had enough. I don't blame her. Yeah, I want a romance. We all want a romance Jaheira. Karlach really wants to romance Jaheira, but she's gonna get very silly and ruin it. I think she's so nervous. Let's get some misconceptions, and then we'll get back on the fun train. Yeah, so it says monetary misconceptions. So if you work in games, you might have observed this if you've been following the actors strike in the US and looking at how little people were earning on huge Netflix shows. Where in America they have proper unions, where we're not kind of allowed to have them here, thanks to Margaret Thatcher. I'll leave that for you to research. Look up the miners' strike of the 1980s, but they're basically clubs now. They don't hold any legal sway, and they're certainly not closed shops, and there's no punishment if you break union rules or anything like that. So there's a lot of monetary misconceptions about being an actor and about acting in games as well. So one of them being that if you recognise we're rich, those are two. That's fame versus success, or monetary success. They're two different things. In the UK, 98% of actors earn less than £20,000 a year from acting. Now, they might have family money, they might be like super well off, but they're probably working another job or two. It's not remember, like 2% are earning from 20,000 upwards. So really there's a tiny amount that you see all the time that are rich. And even then they might not be as rich as you think, especially if they've not worked much the last couple of years, you know. We don't know. But the class system means we don't like to talk about it. We certainly don't like to admit. Which is why a lot of us are in IT, or have been in IT, like myself. Oh, someone said I worked a fucking office. I didn't. I was an infrastructure cloud engineer. This shit is hard. And it took me a long time to learn how to do it. And then I did it for a consultancy and I was miserable. It was fun when I taught myself and made my own projects, but it wasn't fun when I had to work to the beat of someone else's drum. Quite a few of us work in IT, games actors that I know, funnily enough. The so-called flexible job that you can put down and pick back up again at a moment's notice has not existed for the last 20 years, I think. Yeah, okay. I think there's some stuff going on in the chat. I'll go back to where I was. Done some of the really burning questions here. And I think we've got half an hour left. Unless mods are happy to stay, just let me know in our chat. I can keep talking forever. This will be a fun video. 4 hours of Sam talking about themselves. So we are back to 23. If there was a prequel to the game and Karlach was in it, what sort of themes, aspects of Karlach would you like to see explored in it? It doesn't have to be in Baldur's Gate. Maybe a time she went on an adventure elsewhere. I think it's alluded to in the game as it is with other characters. You really have to get into it to get some of these dialogue choices. Like, for example, a romance between Origin, Karlach and Minthara. Because people are like, what the hell's... And a tiny percentage actually played it together. And more people will watch that on YouTube now than actually play it. Prequel, I'd like to see her, like, going for broke. She's on her own. In true prequel Origin, and I mean Origin in terms of superheroes story, the bad Karlach. I want you to see the bad Karlach. She exists. And Karlach, straight out of hell, doesn't want you to know that, and she's turning over a new leaf, and she's trying to be the best person she can be. But if you play, I spoke about this with Sven last night. This is canon, what I'm about to say. I said to Sven, you know that soul coin thing, and there's some dialogue that you only get if you play as Karlach, where she's going, this is wrong, we shouldn't do it. So soul coins are trapped souls of the damned, and you can use them to power infernal engines. I said, is that like a war crime? Because you're like, or a crime against humanity, because you're extinguishing, by using a soul coin, you're extinguishing a soul from existence. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go to an afterlife. And he said, yes, it's a fucking war crime. And Karlach used to do it. She used to do the soul coin thing. Pop one in her, see what happens. She gets a bit, oh. I remember the first time we did we did any sort of scene with soul coins, and she was a bit grabby. What's that? Is that a soul coin? Can I have it? And I said, is that like crack? And they went, yes. And I went, right, I can imagine that, so I'll do that. Yeah, do not let her use them. Don't let them use her. She's trying to turn over a new leaf, please. I think, to be fair, if you keep a barbarian, she's going to be fine in terms of fighting. If you change it to a class where, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just going to say it gives you a buff. And if you're playing as a non-fighting class, I would say it's worth it, maybe, just to get the buff. But in terms of, like, if you're already playing as Barb, she doesn't really need it. She'll be good. But, yeah, that's the answer to that question. I wanted to know, when working with the intimacy coordinator, were they only there for physical scenes, or did they help with some of the more deep and emotional heavy scenes as well, like helping make sure you were okay in those scenes? So as you know, I came in near the end, and someone else did my sex scenes for me, as they did, I think, with everyone else. Now, Neil may have done his. Do ask him, I'm sure he'll let you know. But in terms of, again, if we're not talking, if we're touching someone, and we're definitely not talking, it's not us, someone else. And just because of the way the room's set up. So in Guildford, we had additional mocap performers doing the sex with all the different configurations you can imagine. And yeah, they had an intimacy coordinator, as they should, to keep everyone safe and happy, and make sure everyone's cool. And then with me, as I said, it was opt-in. Now, thing is with video games, and again, video games, is because of NDAs, you don't find out till the day that you have sex scenes, or that's in the character. It's not something that's in your contract. It's not something that's flagged. Something that's been brought to my attention quite early on when I got in, but wouldn't affect me, is witchcraft. Some people, for religious reasons, do not want to fucking cast spells, and that's fine. But if the industry doesn't tell us that that content is there, what does that puts the actor in a real position, funny position in the room. Yeah. So anyway, back to intimacy coordinator. So I was told she was available. As I said before, there's something called stubs where they mark the scene, but it's not written, so I knew it was coming. That's fine. But the point is, I wasn't working with another actor. I was working with you, and I've never done that before. And I had to appear to be very relaxed and comfortable, and sex that's witnessed by a third party, right? But I have to feel comfortable. I know I'm in a stupid suit, right? I'm not naked. There's not some rando carpenters who've shown up for the sex scene as historically they would for traditional film stuff. But the offer was there. I wanted to try it out. It was amazing. The first thing, Asha Jennings Grant, she did an interview. I think you can check it out on Twitter. Sorry, I don't have it to hand. Maybe I'll find it and post it in FAQ. First thing she did was black out the windows. Didn't think of that. It's not like people gawping, but you literally, we all get very distracted. I remember distracting Neil the first time. I think I went in for the audition for Karlach, and Neil was recording, and I went past him, and he went, "Oh, hi," and I fucked him up. So imagine doing that and feeling really vulnerable and everything. So that was the first thing she did, and then she put a sign up on the door saying, this is a private session, and then we went through the scene and made sure I was comfortable, and if I wasn't, we worked out how to do it. I said, we're not changing lines here. That isn't the job. The job is just to make me just get on with the damn performance, and again, believable, authentic, all those things. And I think we even did a retake of one. It was extra steamy. We've changed it, but I've triggered it in the scene in question. I've triggered in the game, which is, if you play as Origin Karlach straight off the Nautiloid, do not talk to Shadowheart. Go for a long rest. Encourage her to talk about all the things she wants to do now she's out. That felt very intimate, and as I call it, not a full wank, kind of half a wank. Wanted to feel comfortable about it. Yes, that's the one. Crash Mat came out, knew it was going to be a good one. They lower the TV, you're there, going, oh, this is all right. And you got to be real. You got to look real, rather than me being uncomfortable. Fanfic mode. That's right. Mind wank. That's right. Yeah, someone's linked. Oh, amazing, Cypher. Thank you for linking that. Yeah, Asha Jennings Grant, intimacy coordinator. And I know they had a few in Guildford, but that was the one I worked with. And I know another member of cast has, of the main, actor cast has used them. But until they come forward, that's for them to tell. But hopefully I open that door up, because, not everyone... In fact, the People who need them most of the ones are not going to ask. So that's it. Yes, mind wank, the most enlightened of wanks. Thank you. Thank you for adding that, Catsalot, to the permitted words. It's canon. Yes, Karlach basically saying I'll be in my bunk. Right. Biotic Amp says, which game or game series would you most like to act in, be a part of, and why? Top 3 if that's easier. I'd love to hear what you do in the Mass Effect universe. Just saying, I like new stories. Like BG3, it's a new story, or at least it's a new generation, and most of us are characters you don't know. I think performances in Dragon Age and Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed are amazing. If I could go back in time and play Ezio myself, I'd do it, but I can't, unfortunately. Let's have some new characters. Yeah, sorry, that's a bit of a crap answer. I feel like this was the dream role experience. There was such a obviously sort of heroic character. He's trying to be heroic, right? And then you've got the complexity, the subtext, all that sort of stuff doesn't really come out unless you're playing either Origin or you've picked very specific options. Same person, Biotic Amp, says, which actors or writers, game, screen or stage, have inspired you most? Quick answer is Gary Oldman. Amazing character actor back in the day. Yeah, just in the 90s his track record was just incredible, and he's a working class South London boy, so what's not to love? Absolutely amazing character, just character actor, just the range of things he's been able to play. And again, like in audio and games, I've been able to play a huge range of characters that I wouldn't be able to, even if film and TV theatre wanted me, that I just physically would, gender non-conforming women being badass and action-based, show me, outside of sci-fi and fantasy. So traditionally, that's not going to be available to me. It's quite a limited palette you have. So yeah, Gary Oldman, huge inspiration for me to become an actor. I just thought he was amazing. Is Dracula. I mean, Dracula's quite a challenging film to get through, and some people in different genres, but Gary Oldman chews the scenery in the most iconic, suitable way, considering. And then he gets to play like the sort of romantic, reincarnated young Dracula who goes to London, has the romance. So he got these two very different roles, very naturalistic, tragic, I can fix him kind of performance, and the monster that is the count that lives in the. Yeah, Oldman can disappear into a role so much you don't even realise it's him. He trained at a place called Rose Bruford in southeast London. So he's a proper trained actor as well. And as I keep saying, we're mostly proper trained actor. And you never know those sort of range of roles. What's nice about, I mean, nothing else, when you come out the other end, you end up confident. You end up very confident because they've thrown so many challenging, difficult, maybe in things you're not interested in, genres at you, that if you were to have to, or you found yourself doing something you'd normally be out of depth in, you're not. You know how to approach it, and sometimes it is going in the toolbox and go, well, I know how to use this tool, don't really like it, I'll use the tool, it gets the job done. Gary Oldman, Fifth Element, amazing, and again doing a sort of more comedy role within to be able to just the breadth. So yeah, Gary Oldman. Oh yes, I think one of our wonderful mods is off. Is that Kelly? Is she gone already? Is she gone? Opera Geek, speak if you're with us. So I'm channeling. Yeah, she's heading for a charity game. We might raid in a bit, chat. If a lot of mods today have been doing charity streams all day, and bless them, have still come on and modded. And I did give them the option not to. I'm not a monster, but they wanted to. So that's that. Right, now. Next question. Sorry, just catching up. Geeky Eleanor says, is there anything about what we see in Karlach that came from your input and got written into your scripts? So I've sort of covered the arrogance of the actor who thinks they know better than the writers. I'm sure Cypher's got stories. Cypher working in games and that. I'm sure you've got stories. No, it was more. I think Sarah caught onto my sense of humour, which is very dry and sarcastic. You might have noticed, and that just more insults from Azora. The second one about the dickheads popping up around this time of year. I think that might have been inspired by moi. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else, but just generally dry. I think poor fucker might have been. I mean, that's so small, but I've just felt that was me in it more. Yeah, that sort of thing, and it's just easy and pleasurable to play when it's written for you, but it's not written for me, the human. It's written for my delivery as Karlach, if that makes sense to you. Amateur. Amateur. I don't know how to say your name. It's like Amateur. And it also it's like shut the fuck up at the end, but I don't know if it's amateur, it's foo. Anyway, I've gone on too long. Singing to the choir here, but just wanted to say your performance was sublime. Thank you. Jaw on the floor for some Karlach scenes. Good writing. Did you get scripts ahead of the performance sessions at all to prepare, practice, or pretty much get it done on the fly? Kind of both. You do AAA games, some indies as well if someone's coming in from AAA. Have the habit of presenting things to you as a spreadsheet. So you're seeing it in isolation. You're not getting. I mean, our directors had a visual branch of how it worked. So you'd exhaust one branch, you go back up, you start again, you go back up, right? But in a Excel spreadsheet, essentially, you don't get that, and that is widespread across AAA. I read as much as I could. Sarah wrote the most incredible breakdown of the character. It's on the website. It's it's not on the website. It was on Panel from Hell, and it was on my character sites when I auditioned, which was like, if Karlach existed now, she'd ride in on a Harley with a cigar between her teeth, blaring Sabbath, a diesel-soaked dynamo. She seeks justice for the oppressed, something about fun, and revenge on the bastard who sold her to hell. I felt that was enough for me to get the character. Essentially, the rest is what would she do under these circumstances, Yeah, so, yeah. A bit of both, because you walk in and the decision's been made. You walk into the studio and they go, we've just had an okay from Larian, and we're doing this today. And I may have read over it, or at least I know what's coming, but as I said, I'm just, I've done a lot of audio, just acting. You just react to the situation as you think the character would in those circumstances, and the directors were my eyes and ears, and sometimes my physicality. So they really guided us through the whole thing. Absolutely essential. Plus we had audio engineers, as you'd expect, and also mocap engineers. And everyone works together, just make sure that everything's coming in okay. And then that gets sent on to cinematics, animation, who knows what else, play tested, audio cleaned up, everything. And it's like an agile development cycle, if that means anything to you. Yeah, let's have a little look at what's going on. Oh, this is nice. Dr. Doorknocker 05 says, when preparing for a role, whether it's BG3, Doctor Who, that was for audio, don't get too excited, chat, Excavation of Hobbs, Barrow, etc., do you have any specific warm-ups or techniques for helping you get into character? The short answer is no. I noticed with Karlach, because we did like 95% of sessions were in the volume, and then, as I said, spells, party banter, that sort of thing was audio in the with the cans in the studio, just with the mic. And I know Theo's said this before, and it's true. You stand like them because you've been standing in a particular way as a neutral bass pose for the mocap, and you would stand to get the voice. So I noticed myself doing that. The problem with this sort of stuff is you don't want to sound like a voice act or announcer or anything too forced, because you're not having to project, it's not theatre. You want to be a bit more naturalistic. Normally you'd work on articulation, especially something that's so word intensive like an audiobook. But if you do that, it sounds a little bit false. I can't do it now because I haven't warmed up. You're also doing a few hours at a time, mainly not shouting. Cool downs are more important to me than warm-ups, if that makes sense, for shouty spell sessions. But because mocap took so long, it wasn't as vocally taxing at all. I mean, really, Karlach's loud. I use my diaphragm. Opera Geek's gone, but talk to Opera Geek about using your damn diaphragm. If you're not sure, take a singing lesson. It all comes from there. It's not here. This will not get strained. It's all good. And a good director will look after you as well. Make sure you have breaks, because you have things like, you know, wanting to please. Just as a performer, you want to please, and sometimes you get devs wear a lot of different hats. Wasn't the case in this game, but with indies, sometimes they're wearing a lot of hats, and they don't know to do things like maybe put the shouting at the end of the session. Crazy, I know. Things like that, and also then obviously you learn techniques. But again, theatre training is going to get you to be able to make those sounds, not in the most realistic way, because real trauma, if we're going to go into this, physical pain, that sort of thing, it's going to get you in the throat. It's going to make you clam up. It's very bad for you. That's why, as I said, anything sort of big scenes, traumatic scenes, were not for me, because I've done the work, I've done the training, I've got the experience to release that through the body, if that doesn't sound too wanky. But it's for my own safety. So it means I can yell, I can do battle grunts, battle cries, pain, that sort of thing. And instead of taking it into the body, I project it out. Every new audio engineer got a tiny lecture from me when I first met them, where I said, Karlach's a loud character, you might want to ride the game, and pity the fool who didn't heed my words. So that's that. Right, I think that's that question answered. I'm glad someone said it made sense. I do yoga. I did yoga. That keeps you in really good shape. It's really good for your brain. Haven't been recently, because I've been busy and obviously don't prioritise my self-care. But at the time, when I had a stressful job, plus doing Baldur's Gate evenings, weekends, I was doing a lot of yoga, and yeah, got me through it, and physically felt great. So this wasn't really taxing. There's a lot of standing still. Certainly coming back to a still position, it doesn't really. In fact, you wonder if you're getting a bit lazy with that sort of thing, because obviously it eats into gym time. So yeah, I'd say the yoga actually more than anything. But yeah, get classes. If you're thinking about this sort of thing, get classes, make good habits, and it's just habit. The Vancore says, what was your spark that either started you on the path or let you know that this was the right path for you as a performer? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, simple answer. I said right at the beginning of the stream, so you won't have all heard it. My break from finding rando things on the internet to actually getting legit work, working with real actors who do this for a living, was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for Radio 4. I played Random, who's in the Mostly Harmless, the 5th book in the Douglas Adams trilogy. The last 3 books were adapted for radio after he died under Douglas Adams, and I was so out of my depth. That's when I decided to train. Now, obviously someone thought I was good enough for the role, but playing other roles, like, shit scared, not a good idea. I realised I could see my limitations. I didn't want to phone in mediocre work. I didn't like the idea of learning and failing publicly. There's a lot to be said for if you can't afford training, or for the time being, or I mean, God's sake, if you can't afford the training, do not go into acting. There's no money here. But if I would say either just pay a human professional to watch you and see what they're saying, because they'll shortcut you into it. The idea that if you do enough fringe for free, or you perform for free, or you do stuff with your mates, you'll learn. You just get, in my experience, bad habits, and you'll either get jaded or out of your depth or something. Yeah. So failing feeling quite mediocre, I think, was what got me to train. Yeah. Okay, so might either have 10 minutes left or we have an hour left. I don't know. Talk amongst yourselves. I didn't finish off Misconceptions. Let's finish that one. So I mentioned that like 98% of UK actors earn less than 20k UK money, about 25 US, for just from acting alone, right? And obviously from the 2%, you're starting from 20k up, and probably a few. So yeah, there's a misconception if you're recognisable, like I am now apparently, but only games famous, or maybe you're in BG. I can walk down the street. Touch wood. Yeah, there's a misconception you're suddenly rich. We don't make royalties in games, is the short answer. It's only recently that film actors started making royalties from films. TV, I think, has always been. Streaming has completely changed the rules, hence the strikes that's been going on. There was an let me phrase this properly, because it wasn't a voice actor strike. It was specifically actors working in video games. Let's call them game actors. Video game actors went on strike almost a decade ago, because we started getting scab jobs over here. Everyone was American. Couldn't find any Americans in the world, right? Let's go to the UK and get them for even cheaper. Thankfully, most of us were wise to it. But yeah, there's no career path. I have yet to get any audition for a big job off the back of BG3. If you see any of us on the internet a lot, that's because we're not working. That's the clue generally for actors. And that's normal, and that's part of it. And at this point, when you've been in the game so long, you've accepted it. And this has been a wonderful gift and experience. And I'm so very lucky to got the role I got. And it's not about, oh, I'm not good enough to get the role. It's literally, out of all the roles available, I think I got a really fucking good one. Certainly very rewarding and fun and challenging in a good way for me. And happy to be known as that. But doesn't necessarily mean, I said, there's no... You see it with Oscars, don't you? Particularly women that win the Oscar, they just don't work. And maybe there's a perception that they're going to be fussy or expensive or whatever. But that's not the case. Doug Cockle also did an interview with Chocobo Chasers where he talks about exactly that. Playing Geralt of Rivia for Witcher and then having no work. And then people being surprised that he was doing indies. Well, what else is he going to do? And it's fine. We just like good writing and good characters. We couldn't give a shit otherwise. No one is giving us royalty, so it doesn't matter. It's all good. Right. I think I finished that question all of a sudden. Who did that one? 34. For BG3, this is Noctura, who I answered the question answered earlier about being non-binary. BG3, how much freedom were you given to develop Karlach's personality and little quirks? I guess they could see what I was doing. Maybe I had some habits, and that got written in, like being sarcastic and dry and landing a good insult, which, you know, is a massive compliment for someone like me. Otherwise, again, we tried to make her, because she's so big, quite still. But again, good thing about training is you're not making weird quirks and things, because they kind of iron that out of you over 3 years. So you work from a place of neutrality and build on things. It's could be seen as quite an ableist way to see things, but from non-disabled actors, that's expected, that you start from a neutral body, as it were, and then you build on top of that if you're going to, if that makes sense. How do you feel about the thirst in the community? It says in chat. Great if it's aimed at the character. See the difference? Right. Oh, bless you. Cypher, you can call a break if you want to. Sorry. I don't know if I've made... I mean, yeah. How far am I into this? We're hitting the hour soon. Cats a lot. And I think I've got halfway through. And I think I should save some of these for another stream, because I'm not going to do another 2 hours, because that's how long it's taken me to get halfway through, which is fair. Yeah, halfway. Let's get to the hour and call it a night, and we'll answer the rest, if that makes sense. Is that all right? I mean, it is. I don't know why I asked. It's a bad habit. Just making sure everyone's cool. Amazing mods. Cats a lot. And Cypher of Tier. Don't know why I'm reading chat. Yes, good. Right. This will be VODed, hopefully indexed, so you can see. And spread the good word of how we made this game. And I don't know next week what days I'm streaming. I've got a very, very, very busy week, so I'll do my best. But I get tired, and yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have some boundaries, as you all should too. The power of no. It's a wonderful word. You should use it. This is a great question to end on, because I realise how long I take. This is from Ali XMA 95. I thought it said Xmas, but it didn't. It says, you said you knew the game was BG3 when you recorded your performance as Karlach. I did. But I believe many of the actors had no idea. And remember, many actors don't know, they don't play games. Can the very heavy secrecy around some games and projects in general be difficult to deal with sometimes? So I've just talked about strikes and what I like to call in games the double NDA. I have auditioned for tiny roles in Marvel movies. When I sign the NDA, it tells me what the film is and threatens to kill me and any firstborn or any next of kin that I may have in my life. Should I break the NDA, my script will be watermarked. I did like a cop and said stop or I'll shoot, and that was the level. And yet, the very same parent company doing a game will give me what I call the double NDA, which is the NDA doesn't say anything and no one tells me anything. And it's kind of, if you find out anything, don't tell anyone. You've got to now watch out for other people breaking NDA, and then you can break NDA. Because the other thing is, I said, we come in at the end traditionally, and a lot of the time we're seen as outsourcers. So we do our job, we go, and that's it. You're not getting a copy of the game. You're not getting, sometimes you get a credit, that's nice. But for smaller roles, sometimes they miss you. You're not getting any notice about when the game comes out, timetable. The amount of friends that found out they were the lead or good role in a game at GDC when they saw the trailer for the first time. It just stops us negotiating a fair price. That's what I'll say about that. But on the other side, and these things are cultural, right? And sometimes they come into indies as well. Someone who's been doing AAA will bring this behaviour into indies because that's the behaviour, that's the culture of it. And what that means is I can't give you my best performance. Because if I don't know the job... So BG3, I keep going about theatre, it's theatrical, it's big. These characters are huge. They just are. They're larger than life. They're archetypes. Right? So you need a theatrical performance. You don't want to get a load of audiobook men. So that's normally what it is. Audiobook men with a nice voice in a home studio. I have never acted from the neck down. That's unhappy for everyone. So we don't do that. For some reason, they don't like using a resource we have called Spotlight. It doesn't cost the earth. Every actor's on it. Every professional actor is on it. And you can search by nationality, by languages, by special skills. And that's why it kind of kills me when games go, we couldn't find them. You can absolutely find them. Get Spotlight. Everyone uses it in film, TV and theatre. It's an amazing resource. You can see everything on one page. And you can audition through it. They'll have show reels. They'll have... Everything is... Yeah, there are no protections in the UK. I'm glad you're getting the hang of it, chat. It's grim. And then we all pretend we're rich anyway. We don't need the money, darling. So... But some of us, persevere in almost as if to spite the industry. Because my story is one of perseverance. Spotlight is amazing. And I think if you follow enough British actors on Twitter, like a lot of them will have a link to their Spotlight on there. And you can see it. And it's a public, as much as they want to, as a public resource. And casting directors in every other part of the UK entertainment industry use it. It would be seen as a really stupid amateur kind of thing to not do it that way. It doesn't make sense. I assume it's to do... I mean, I know people say it's because the actors leak. Well, then sue us. Sue us. We'll do it. We know in film if you leak, you're done. You're kind of finished. I don't always buy it. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't buy it. I think it's a way to stop people negotiating. Because that is the knock-on effect. We don't always know what we're in. And I think it was a huge one day, maybe a bit shy about it. That first Karlach audition in 2020 I didn't get. First of all, she was a bit different. She was more of a fighter class, and she certainly hadn't been sold into slavery, but she had a background in fighting in hell and got out. And so I think she was a bit more grey area, probably a little bit more Lazelle. And I look back at it and think the audition's weak, but I didn't know what the game was. And then 2022 comes this time last year when I'm getting the sides, and I know who that is. I know it's the D&D game, so I know again the tone of it, I suppose, the genre, and then the fact that it's large and it's fantasy, and that going through Michael Dowsett-Larian gives me that insight and the confidence to go, Michael Dowsett-Larian thinks I'm actually quite good. I know you haven't heard of me, but trust me, I can do the acting thing. So there's all that going on as well. And with Hobbs Barrow, going back to Hobbs Barrow, knowing that I had the entire script as an indie, they just gave it to me. You always do the who, what, why, where, when of it through the investigation of the text. I did a full analysis as I would do if it was a piece of theatre. The other one I like, here's a tip, if you're an actor or you want to be or whatever, what do other people say about my character? Because with Thomasina, she's a massive snob and she doesn't know it. And that's a really interesting one. It would have been a different play, and any subtext I could get with her, because it's polite English. As Cypher was playing the other day, it's polite English society. So on the surface, it's always about what's not said. She'll go when she really fucking wants to kill someone, and then you click on something and she thinks, she just says everyone's really stupid and backwards. Of course she'd never say that. And so we played into that. It was really fun. And we could a little bit with Karlach, as I said, I got a lot of the script in advance, but really it was Sarah's description of who this, again, archetype really is. The himbo, the hero, the troubled hero. There's these archetypes we can tap into, which is great. But I wish, it's such a shame. I think that's why indies do really well in performances, because you're more likely to get the entire script, you get the context, you get the genre. You might even know you might be told who the other actors are, and it's not about getting in contact in that, but you know what they deliver and what they can do, and you get a sense of the world. It's really, really it's really important. And what I'd like for something I found even more collaborative than film, theatre and TV, what I'd like to bring in from that discipline is the table read, where you find out how all the characters fit together. It's not about doing the whole game, but it'd be about, a mission or something, and just seeing how they work together, what works, what doesn't, what lands, what doesn't, just like they do in all the other ones. And I know it's made out of order, not chronologically, blah 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 blah. But even if it's just the writers reading their own work in a room, I think maybe they do that. I don't want to patronise, but there's no, as far as I know, no sort of established working practices. Everyone's kind of still working it out, and that'd be amazing for casting. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot in games that people are cast, they're not right, they're dropped, they don't know that any of this. In fact, they don't know till the fucking game comes out and they thought they were in it. Let's not do that. Yeah, collaboration. Let's end on that tonight. Another thing with Cypher was so kind to drop a link to Doug's Chocobo Chaser's interview about that. He's a theatre practitioner as well, and that's what we live for. And especially when we're not getting the interaction with the audience and we're just absolutely imagining you all, which was so much fun. You have this tight team, and then you have all these other people that work on it and are working with you to create these characters in this world, and it's wonderful. And I just think it's a shame that we're only sort of meeting each other afterwards, really. I know timetables and blah blah blah, but I think unfortunately big game dev has more in common with tech and with agile development and all that than it does the more artistic, let's get together in a room and a vibe and see if this works. As I said, I could be wrong, and I'm sure in the States you have some of the bigger companies making strides to make it a little bit friendlier, the process to be friendlier to the humans that are involved. We'll pick this up next time. I've got no idea when it's going to be. I'd like to say thanks to Cypher of Tyr, to Cats a lot, who did an incredible job, not only modding, but also putting the questions together from a rando tweet I made and putting them on a list and highlighting them and making sure that I was on track to some degree. It's like herding a cat, I know. The Opera Geek, who, incredible, I got to speak to her the other day. I'm very, very blessed with these mods who are industry. They're industry people. So please follow and love and chat. And we are going to raid someone. I'm just going to check mod chat to see who that's going to be and if you're able to do it. Yes, I think we have agreement. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm really sorry. Is that something, Catsalot, you can do? Because I can't cut and paste on OBS on a Mac. The silence, right? The silence. Let's see if there's a message. Maybe I just start typing raid. Can I do it, chat? From my main channel? We can't raid. I tried to. Right, okay. Let me try. Here? I'm doing it now from the Twitch desktop. I feel. Oh, I can just type it in. Great. I won't do it from OBS because it won't let me cut and paste. It's so useful. It's going to be a nice surprise. Someone's playing Dungeons and Dragons right now. Yeah, please stay. Or if not, have a wonderful time, wonderful evening, day, whatever you're doing. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, I've been talking about myself a lot. Feels very self-indulgent. I hope you got some insight or at least some entertainment out of it, and I will see you next time. Yeah, I'm gonna just try and raid. If it doesn't work, I'll sit awkwardly till we work it out. But otherwise, taters. Let's start the raid. We are unable to raid them. Yay! Let's see who else is on. Do I know anyone that's on? Yes, I know I'm live, dear. Did I tell you I used to do things with computers? I always freeze up when someone's watching me. Funnily enough, no, none of my contacts are online right now. Ooh. Don't worry, chat. We're not going to do a democracy and ask you. Don't get too excited. Cypher's on it. Oh, new raid has begun. Excellent. Who are we raiding? Or is it a surprise for me? Ready, set, Ben. Enjoy. I will see you next time. Peace out. And taters. And all the rest. See ya.